Roma was Alfonso Cuarón's 2018 film, and it is often touted as being one of the best films of the entire decade. Is it? Well, probably. Well, I personally wouldn't call one the best of the decade, simply because when you look, there's just, in that 10-year gap, there's just, a bunch of others. But it is one of the best foreign language films of the decade. Before Cuarón did, before he did Roma, he did Gravity with Sandra Bullock, and that was another acclaimed film. I didn't like Gravity, but I liked Roma. Roma deals with family and tragedy, and it's all about life, really. And what I liked about Roma, as opposed to other slow burners, because Roma, it is a slow burner, right? What I liked about it was it doesn't take its time to the point where you're like, okay, come on, let's get on with it already. And there's enough spike in certain scenes to really enjoy what's happening. And that's definitely a good shot. Is the movie perfect? Nah, there's like as I said, it's a slow burner, and there are a couple of times where you can tell that you sometimes think to yourself, all right, we can get to the next scene already. Some of the bits do kind of sink a little bit, so that's why I wouldn't call this a perfect film, right? But there are plenty of spikes of interest, as I said, and there's not a whole lot of dullness. I mean, there's a couple of scenes where you think really could have been shortened and cut like near the ends, but yeah, I never got the feeling of, oh, come on, let's move on already. Like so many of these recent slow burners that have come out these days, like First Cow from a little while ago, that movie right there, that movie was freaking boring. Roma, on the other hand, it isn't. It's slow, but it doesn't bore the hell out of the audience, which I liked. It deals with this young woman living in Mexico. The movie takes place in 1971, okay? Well, 1970 through 1971. It's about this maid named Cleo, who is pretty mild-mannered, and she works for this family. There's the husband's a doctor, the wife is a homemaker, and they have 4 great kids. And so yeah, 2 maids are employed, but the movie focuses on Cleo. And Cleo is, she's just such a kind woman, so great to the family, so great to really everyone. And when it starts, sure, you kind of get a little bit of a feeling that Cuarón is going in for a bit of a slow burn, and a bit kind of suck you in a little bit. That's not too bad. Eventually, Cleo finds out that she is pregnant, and I would say roughly then and there is when the movie starts to rise a little bit more, and that being when the movie gets clicked into high gear. Things just keep rising and rising and building, which is always good. In my book, it's always good when a movie can really get you invested, but stakes keep getting raised, and we feel so much for Cleo and the rest of the family. Because although Cleo is the center of the film, we get to know a lot about what's happening with the family. When we watch it, we feel almost every kind of emotion possible. The only thing that we don't really feel a whole lot of is happiness and laughter. Because this is a really sad movie, Sure, there could have been some bits of comic relief, but there really isn't. It's it is quite depressing in certain moments, but it has it's pretty redemptive of itself later on, because every time something really sad happens, there's redemption quickly after. Cuarón chose to shoot the film in black and white. One reason is to capture the time period, and I think that there's a few other reasons. I'm sure that there's a few other reasons why, but yeah, there's a few parts in this that are really well done in terms of the framing and the lighting, like when they're on the beach, and like of course this beach background, it doesn't look all that good because it's quite overcast. But you know, if the sun was beating down on it, it would look great, and that's what happens in Roma. There's a few scenes of really great looks and lots of underlying messages, lots of underlying themes and motifs, and I thought that all that stuff put together was great. The only thing that my only real complaint with Roma was that there was quite a few moments, especially at the beginning, that kind of slumped a little bit, and because of that, I don't think that it achieves the highest standard of excellence, but it's quite high up there. So I'm going to give Roma my second highest rating of 3.5 stars out of 4.